not me. And they said, and Chandler Massey, and they showed this great work being done by Guy Wilson on the screen. So what was going through your head? I know you had a great line when you came to the stage and said, did you like my reel? But what were you thinking? This is your moment when that was happening. And go.
Well, at first, I was kind of seated in the way back, so I couldn't really see very well, so I had to squint. I'm like, is that me? And I turned to my manager, and he's like, no. No, it's not. I'm like, oh, but it's a good scene. I hadn't seen it. So at that point, I'm like, okay.
I was so good, I even changed my whole physical.
Yeah, I'm a chameleon actor. But it was kind of funny because I was very nervous, and then I just saw that, and I was just like, oh, all right, okay. And then it happened, and it was pretty cool. So yeah, it was actually great because I hadn't seen the wedding. So I got to see it.
What is it that you said? He's like, did you like my tape or something? Or
I said, did you see my reel? That was awesome. That was a good scene. I wonder
if you were in the audience at that time, it was even better.
Yeah, and as I was walking up, I was like, did they see my actual reel, or did they vote for? Or did I just was that? I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
I was like, should I give this to Guy?
Wrong actor on this.
Yeah.
That's great. Awesome. So again, I'm just going to try to. And I don't even know if I need to bring the mic out to ask a question. We'll see how it works. But who's got a question for one of these gentlemen?
Wow, not everybody.
So just to review, this is the Q&A session.
This is the lovely city of Toronto and the harbor.
Okay, please. Yes.
What's Chandler working on right now?
What, Chandler? What are you working on right now? Is the question.
Still going to school?
Yeah, I'm still going to school. I'm working on. I just finished a little indie movie yesterday, and then when I get back, doing a horror movie actually, where I die.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine that. We need to see Will Horton die one more time.
Yeah. But instead of getting strangled, I get my neck snapped around by a demon orphan baby. Little tiny baby hands named
baby's name Ariana.
No, it's not named. It doesn't have a name.
We can name it Marlena.
Yeah.
Just to kind of keep it all together.
I told you guys should probably use the mic. Can you guys hear in the back? Can't hear
No,
in the back?
but you can now.
Okay, good.
You can hear us loud and clear. Perfect.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That is
The Mr. Clickman right there.
Okay.
That's Dad right there,
That's
right?
Dad. That's my dad.
That's Mom and Dad and mother-in-law. Beauty resides in the back corner, but just have to.
Those are the guys who own the boat. I wish that was true. My parents don't own it.
Chandler and I this morning just arrived, at like 5:45 this morning. We arrived after catching our flight last night on the red eye. And let me tell you that I love to fly. And I love to know that God has a great sense of humor. Because last night the turbulence was so amazing to fly up into this weather and to feel such a large plane move so graciously. I was like, this is funny. I get it, you got a humor. This is great, just get me here. Beautiful place down there. Love my kids, want to get home to them. But we did make it in safe and sound. Thank God for those pilots. But did you notice that they were already off the plane when we?
They're kissing the ground.
I was like, where are those guys? I just like to control that kind of thing. It's an amazing thing. But we're here and glad to be here. Thank you, Greg, Jen, for putting this on again, and to be in the great city of Toronto. And go Jays! Go Rangers! No, never mind. Wrong move. All right. So, anybody else? Questions? Come. Yes.
Just wondering, when you guys have a really emotional scene, maybe like an angry scene or something with a scene partner, is it hard to let go of those bad feelings? Like, you have a really intense relationship with that actor. Is it hard to kind of let those feelings go after the director says cut? Or is it hard to let those feelings go, those bad feelings, after you get home? Did it kind of come down?
Right.
Greg, can you just repeat the question because not everybody can hear?
I think the question is like if Chandler and I had this very intense cousin fight, because we're cousins, right? I think we're on the screen together for like one time.
Yeah.
We talked.
His
Yeah.
uncle.
I'm your uncle. I was your uncle. Yes, we had one scene together, and I had one scene with Guy, and now he's dead, and okay. So it just worked. It was meant to be. But the question is like after working with an actor and having emotions and carrying those feelings on aftermath, or letting them go. It depends. I don't really have any animosity towards anybody that I work with. We all cohesively work well together, and it's nice to have the moment to like just channel something. That you have to dig deep as an actor, wherever you're coming from and where you want to go to. There'd be times like getting prepared for something. Being a priest and fighting with my brother at the time at the wedding and all that was like the biggest emotional, like physical things to go through. And it is because you want to stay at a high and you have to maintain your high because all these moments happen in little segments, and so it's like you start and the next scene, they're long, they're not long, like 3 to 5 page moments. They're very like 2 pages and like everybody is trying to jump in and tag each other to make sure you keep the momentum of that scene going.
Nice.
So it's hard to layer it and can maintain the level of consistency unless you like, can we bridge these 2 scenes together and make it one, or just pick it up and just pause and go right into the next one. And sometimes that's what I'll do, just so we can keep the same level of intensity. Because it's hard for emotions when you're carrying, when you're starting here, and it's like, okay, we got to stop. Oh, we got to do some lighting. We got to set the camera shot. Just carry it through.
Because you and Ari had some very intense scenes where you were really angry. Or is it Ari Zucker?
Yeah, Nicole. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ari and I. Which scenes are you referring to? Anything that I got?
Right. Well, after you weren't a priest, she was in love with you.
Oh, when I went to the Vatican and the Cardinal, and I made a choice to.
Yes.
I wanted to be, what would you say?
Sinner?
Yeah, I am a sinner. I repented. 10 Hail Marys. I think, you know what? In every show I've ever been on, you're amongst people who have the same dream and passion, and this is a very well-rounded, seasoned crew of people who are very professional and who work hard at their craft and want to bring stuff to it, and so it's nice to be among those people, and we made some good stuff, some good Kodak moments.
No, that one, I can't.
All right, part 2.
He was engaged on an audience level and was like, oh,
Now
no.
it's Shannon's turn.
Yeah.
Do you know this is Canadian royalty right here? This is a Massey.
Yes.
Yes, we're finding the connection somewhere. I told him just to move here and just claim the title. I'll just come and room in anytime, just so I can take part in this royalty amongst us. Massey Hall.
Yep.
Yeah. What else is another Massey?
Massey Strip Club.
Massey Strip Club. This is new. That's coming soon. It's coming soon. We're looking for investors, actually. On a boat. On a boat. We can cruise the harbor.
Massey Waters, which means anything.
Massey. You're off. Yeah.
Love boat.
Love boat. Perfect. Love Massey Love Boat. Right there.
Jen, you had a question.
Who are Jen?
I have a question. So, working with children, I see, a lot of kids have a natural interest in theater and in performance. And I just, when you were about, 10 years old, let's say just for example, did you know that you wanted to act? That the theater was kind of your thing? Did that until
10 years old.
later.
That's a long time
Did you know
ago.
it was a tryout?
You see this gray? There's a reason why that's there. It's called I Have Children. This is from their mother. And yes, at a very young age. I saw, like, from George, I mean, it's so ironic to me to see Star Wars today, you know, being such a big rehype and resurgence, but when I saw, like, Indiana Jones and everything, when I was a kid and watching, like, just wonderful old movies, what was the like, The Graduate, you know, or, like, there was what was that one movie with, Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep? There was a movie in Kramer versus Kramer. Loved that movie. I mean, I loved that movie. There was just certain movies that always, like, and then I was always, as a kid, when I'd go down and spend it with my grandparents for the summer vacation because my mom was getting rid of us. And we'd go down, we live in the hill country of Texas, and so it was like nothing to do. It was like we were with BB guns and fishing poles, and we could swim all day and kill everything, climb the trees, go anywhere. It was adventurous. So we'd come in, we'd watch movies during the heat, you know, and I would watch every Disney movie you could find over and over and over and over and over, and then it was just like, how it made me feel, where it was just this fantasy world, and I was like, that is what I want to do with my life. And we had one theater, and I would go down and watch Breakin', you know, in the movie theater, you know. I was just like, it was just, honestly, as a kid with one theater in a small town, it was just like, my whole creative process was just there. I knew it. I knew when I was a kid I was going to do it.
Do not. You have to say something. 10 was not long ago for you.
For me, I think it all stemmed from, I'm the oldest child, but my sister is 2 years younger than me. So as soon as she came into existence, things went downhill.
What about you?
What wasn't about me. So I had to find some way to, and she was very, like, she still is, like, so bright, and she's so pretty, and she's got this smile that kind of, like, lights up a room, and she's so good at everything that it would really, I didn't like that. So I guess I found, like, acting and playing make-believe and putting on shows for my parents and our friends to be kind of my way to gain back, like, an identity of some sort. So yeah, I just continued that on. Wasn't very good at sports either. There just was, like, I exhausted all other options.
This was my only choice in life.
No, but so, like, I would try out for the soccer team. There was, like, gold and silver. Gold was the high, silver, and then bronze. And I would make bronze, and my sister would try out for the girls, and of course she'd make gold, and she'd be captain. And I'd run for, like, vice president of my elementary school, and I would lose in a landslide, and then my sister would run for president the next year, and of course she'd get elected. So, so that takes away politics, sports. So I was like, and she's like, I don't really like acting, and I'm like, yes, that's me. That's what I like. Yeah, I'm doing that.
I'm so doing that. It's good. I own this zone. And just to back it up, I'm going to go win a few Emmys. Bam! How do you feel about them apples?
And then afterwards, I'm like, please, Cameron, please don't get an acting. Please don't, please. Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Did your sister ever give the desire to want to go into acting?
No.
Okay.
Thank God.
Did you guys make an agreement? You wrote it out? This is a contract that you will never be an actress.
I think she recognized, you know, like this could be your thing.
I'll let you have this one. Go ahead.
Yeah.
With grace, she backed out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who's got yes, dear?
I was wondering why the Stefano DeBera's mansion looks different now. Like, where's the piano? Where's the piano?
Yeah, it's different
Why is it?
So Stefano DeMera's property, the mansion, has, I guess, been uplifted and went through a rendering of some sort. There is a piano. Well, I think it's just moved. Maybe it went to get rekeyed. I think that it was a little out of tune, so they had to send it away. The piano, yeah. It's taking up a lot of space, but it is coming back. It will. I can let the cat out of the bag. I will tell you that piano will be back, so don't you fret. All right? I will get you that piano. I'm going to put that in my...
I am tweeting that right now.
Yeah, piano is still present. It's just getting retuned.
Chandler, are you still taking piano lessons?
Did you play on that piano? You did play on that piano.
Yeah.
Remember that one time I was in there studying like, by myself and you came in there, or you were already in there actually.
Yeah.
We were both there, we didn't know it, I think, and then all of a sudden...
In the church, because they had another... Wait, no, it wasn't.
No, you were
Yeah.
you were practicing the tune, and he was in there, and I'm like over there doing my stuff, and all of a sudden I hear ding 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 ding, and I'm like, what the is this going on? I'm in the church. And then I'm like, oh, that's gonna be good. I couldn't focus. I was so out of it. I was like, well, screw this, you know. And then I saw Chandler, and he's like, yeah, I'm just learning this. And I was like, is there anything that you can't do? I mean, really? Oh yeah, I didn't get the list. He's like, yeah, I'm kind of cool. And, you know, I started doing this. And it's like, come over and teach my kids, man. I want to do piano. So yeah, the piano is coming back. As far as the uplift of the TOC on Stefano, I do not know about that. I don't go to that place very often. Yeah, good for me. Yes, dear.
Hi, my question's personal, two-pronged. Tell us a hidden talent and tell us what your worst habit is.
A hidden talent
And what your worst habit is.
and my worst habit. Well, my worst habit we're not going to talk about. My hidden talent.
God, that's a good one.
Well, I was an athlete. I was a decathlete when I was younger, and so for me, that was where my career was going before acting became relevant, because I never realized that I really could become an actor. You know, I dreamed it as a kid. You always have that fantasy of like, you know, and that's the one thing that I believe that more kids forget, and they always need to be reminded. If you have a dream to be an astronaut, a dentist, a car washer, a garage, you know, whatever you do, just follow your dream. It can become reality. And so that was always my thing. And so when I finally said, I'm going to do this, and my mom was really the instrument behind booting me out of the house because I had nowhere else to go. But she's like, listen, what do you want to do? Because you're in my house too long, and you're over 18, and your 21st birthday is coming up, and you need to be gone. I've done my job. So I packed a truck and I drove to LA. So very happy. So my group, one of my skill sets that you probably never knew, I was the athlete, you know, that was looking for a college to go to, but acting became the reality, and that's where I am.
What sport?
I was decathlete, so everything. I played football and baseball, obviously. Really wasn't very good in basketball. Didn't play soccer. We were in Texas. It was like football, everything. Decathlon came in. My youth minister, when I was 13, introduced me to pole vaulting. And then from pole vaulting, I loved track and field, so I started becoming like, and it helped me, you know, keep my my conditioning for football, obviously. And then I loved it so much that I gave up football. And I had too many head concussions. So my doctor was like, Greg, I think you need to find another alternative. I had so many head injuries, like football concussions. We were playing football, and I went to make an interception, and I hit the goalpost. The only goalpost in 100 yards. That's like the one little tree, I hit it. It was like everything was right for the face or the head. Everything. I was pole vaulting at a regional track meet, went over the mat, landed in the metal box, 57 stitches, care flighted to the hospital, coma for 5 days. Yeah, did it a year again later, 23 stitches the opposite direction. I was in Grand part of Dallas, a suburb. My mom was like, oh great, I'm going to another hospital. I was the most accident-prone child in my whole life. I had a metal pole go through my mouth, you know, when I was a kid. Everything was the face. Wow. The doctors knew me by first name. Oh, it's Greg again. You know? So, I mean, I have done everything. It was the full body, never touched. Head and face.
Good choice, Chandler.
So, I have a lot of great scars.
Yeah, holy cow. What was the question again? Yeah.
Worst habit, procrastination in every possible facet, and too many video games. But that's also my hidden talent. Good at video games. So it paid off. It paid off. Yeah. Thank you.
We're gonna shorten these answers up.
I just recently watched the whole series of Charmed. How was working on Charmed?
Could you just repeat the question?
Well, it's
How was working on Charmed?
Yeah, you were on
Well,
second.
let's think about this. One guy with 3 women. Every month was different. I never knew what I was getting and who was I getting. And there was a lot of medical pills around. There were a lot of pills, pharmaceutical drugs. No, I'm kidding. No, Charm was great. A lot of fun. It was awesome. A lot of magic powers. Yeah, it was a good, different time in my life and a lot of fun. Good times. And I'm still close with it.
How was Charm for you?
How was Charmed live for you?
Charm was a terrible experience for me. That's all I'm going to say about it.
I have a question which is kind of an amalgamation of some questions and comments that I've heard from various people. There's a lot of longtime fans of the show here who've been watching like 25 years and so on. Now for the 50th, they're kind of bringing back a lot of the old faces. How has it changed the dynamic of the show? How is it working with these people? How do you find? I noticed the viewership. You even tweeted out a graph showing that the viewership is like spiking.
Yeah.
What's going on? How's it been?
Well, I think it's definitely the regime change came in the new year, going into the new year when we were going on our Christmas break, the holiday break for the one of our producers, directors became elevated, became the EP. He's presently he's on the floor, so you always have that voice of reason to communicate with. You have a problem, he comes in, he addresses something to the actors every day, for everything. So it's nice, instead of them being on the top of the boat, for instance, they're down here with you, so we can have this really person-to-person communication relationship. They brought a lot of throwback from the older, Peter Reckel came back, and then they got Teo. We've lost amongst that a lot of other people, and it's very sad. But it's kind of like Sopranos. Somebody's got to die. And every show, to keep the dramatic suspense, somebody's got to do. You got to get rid of somebody important to bring in something. You got to change the story direction or whatever have you. Let's throw back some old faces. So it's been good as far as the writing regime. That's been everybody's still kind of finding their way. I think from what I've heard, people like the vision of the how it looks, or the writing, or what's going on with story points. It's good to know. The ratings prove it themselves. So if it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So it's getting better. They're always trying to make it better. 50 years is a big time, and it means a lot to the Corday family. And I know Ken, he was very adamant about seeing the growth in the show and recapturing the audience and maintaining the support that we've had over the last 50 years. So just to be in the part of the last 3 years has been fun. So we've lost some good people, talented, and those that have other aspirations and dreams, and there's new faces that come in. You hope they can pull their weight and still maintain the integrity of the show. So I hope it continues to thrive, and we see another year out of it. It's not fair because I'm there and you're not, because you're supposed to help, but it's like people coming back. It's like, guy's dead, but maybe he can come back. What's his name? What was your character's name? Will, that guy. You know what? He can come back as Will. It is possible. Like I said, in 3 years I did 2 scenes, one with him and one with the other one, and that's how bad it was.
Yeah.
So we did need a writing regime change.
Yeah.
The family, the core values of the Bradys and Demiras and stuff. I think we have a lot of older seasoned veterans that have really put their thumbprint on the show.
I got something to chat. Reverse reverse it.
That's perfect.
No, but reverse it. I mean, you came onto the show and you were brand new working with veterans. How was that?
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I came on the show as brand new. I was working with a bunch of seasoned vets, and how was it? It was scary. It was my first like series regular. It was my first big job. I'd done some like guest stars here and there, but it was just kind of like coming in, and like any profession, you come in, you don't really know what you're doing, but you're around a lot of people who really do know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So you kind of just leech off of them, and you learn, and hopefully you learn fast enough to where they keep you around. So, but it was a lot of fun. It was a nerve-wracking time, but exhilarating time.
So I reversed it. There you go. You can answer a question.
No problem. Good for you. Next.
I guess I'll ask the question everybody's afraid to ask. If they decided to write in that Will had a long-lost twin brother, are you interested?
Yes, if his name is Bill. Yeah. His name is Bill Horton. That is a good question because I left Days, but it's never been like out of my life. I sung 4 years. I know maybe 4 years doesn't sound like a lot when some of the people have been on the show for a lot longer than that, but to me, like putting my heart and soul into a person for 4 years that won't, that doesn't leave you. And so, what was the? Oh yeah, but yeah, stay with as long as it's Bill, as long as the name rhymes, or Trill
That's your pleasure.
Oh yeah, but I'm like Will's biggest fan. Because I got to kind of see through his eyes everything that he's gone through. So yeah, that'll never. I'll always have like a special place in my heart for Will and for Days and for Greg.
The one scene.
Yeah, the one scene. The one scene.
What was it?
We did. It was. I remember. It was. Yeah. And basically, Will came in because he was kind of unsure because you were a priest. What is he going to think about me being gay? And then you're like, it's all right. You were from the very start. You were like the coolest priest ever.
Yeah. Just like, hey, I'm hip. I'm down with it.
Yeah. Down with the times.
Go Jesus.
We have a question. Yes.
What was it like working with a newborn, Chandler?
Yeah, baby.
Oh my gosh, they were awesome.
Did everybody hear the question?
Oh. What was it like working with newborn babies? Well, I have, I had some newborns of my own at the time, so I had a little experience. No, I didn't. But it was scary because you have someone's life in your hands, and if you drop them, then that was actually for at least the first a couple months that was all I can think about. But I think
I cannot drop you. This year on my watch.
Yeah, but I feel like that's kind of close to what thoughts go through a dad's head. When he holds his daughter for the first time, like safety, safety first and foremost. But they were great. I'd hang out in the dressing room with their parents and just kind of try so they can get as comfortable with me as possible. And I think my goal was to make them like me more than they like Camilla. And I think I succeeded because a couple times she was supposed to be holding one of them in the scene, and they're fussing and everything. Oh, let me. And Cindy, she was all calm and happy, and I'm like, yeah. Yes. So yeah, it was fun.
Chandler, are you still in the band?
Yeah, I'm in school full time and then work here and there on some stuff. So I haven't been as active, mostly because I play piano and I sing a little bit. My voice doesn't really lend itself to like screamo or like hard rock. It's very almost like church choir-y. can't really do anything about that. So my contribution is a little limited, but yeah, but I still see and talk to the guys all the time, and yeah, so yeah, we're still working on stuff, but it's like definitely like a passion project, you know.
Now that you were gone for 2 years, you've done some other things, some other shows, you've had time to digest it. Looking back on those 4 years, what was one of your favorite scenes? Your favorite, not what had the most impact, but what was something you liked the most?
Please repeat the question.
Looking back now, what was like one of my favorite scenes? And you know what? It's changed. Like my answer is, I think, different now than it would have been 2 years ago. I always liked the scenes when it was just one-on-one. Weddings and funerals, I think, weren't anybody's favorite, just because they took a long time. But I really liked the scene where Will and Sonny, the New Year's resolution scene with the little 10. Or the scene near Halloween where they're dressing up and they're running around and spraying silly string at each other. Just scenes that weren't really plot related at all, but were just very like human. And I think I look back at those like most fondly, and I have the most vivid memories of those.
Just adding on to that, the funerals and weddings, I hate them. I hate going to a wedding now. It's just like, really. We have a game now that we actors play while we're filming this called Actors Ball that Brian DiTillo came up with. It's the greatest game ever. We have money. You have like, you pick your team. It's a drafting thing, so it's everything with like this fantasy draft and everything. You actually pick from like electric to hair to makeup to a camera, 1, 2, 3, or 4. The director, the booth, anybody, an actor, an extra. I mean, you name it across the board. Everything is game on. And what happens is everybody gets X amount of players on their team. You get like 3 to 5. And an actor, if like you're doing it and they're like, cut, all right, we have to go back. Okay, why? We call the AD, which would be like Stuart, who is our first on point. He's doing everything on the floor. And you're like, why did they stop it? Why did they go to cut? Whose fault is that? Oh, we had a shadow on the boom. Oh, it's boom. Oh, they screwed up. The lighting, the electric, the boom operator. Who's got the boom? Oh, you got the boom. Oh, you got a point. All right. I mean, it is the greatest game I've ever experienced when you have a big grouping like that. So when you see the big groups, we have so much fun. I mean, it is like, because it's become so boring. I mean, like, oh my God, I love you too. And then you have to hit there and hear their vows over and over and over. It's like, you sit in a chair like this for like 8 hours, like, oh my God, here we go. Everybody looks nice, and